The camera pans across a suburban street lined with identical pastel-colored houses. It's the kind of neighborhood where nothing bad is supposed to happen: white picket fences, manicured lawns, children's bikes left on sidewalks. But the silence is broken. Screams echo in the night. A woman's voice, high-pitched, frantic. Then a crash of glass. A porch light flickers on. Neighbors peer through curtains, confused, and then they see it. A young woman, blonde, perfectly styled, almost doll-like, stumbles into the middle of the street. Her face is streaked with blood. She's barefoot, clutching something tight against her chest. At first, it looks like a child's doll. But as the porch lights illuminate her trembling hands, it's no doll. It's a kitchen knife. Behind her, a young man emerges from the shadows. Tall, chiseled jawline, hair slicked back. He looks like he stepped straight out of a magazine ad. Except his white shirt is soaked red, and his eyes, wide, unblinking, are locked on her. The neighbors watch, frozen in horror. The blonde woman, her voice breaking, whispers, "They'll never find the others." And then, silence. Darkness swallows the street again. This is how the story of the Ken and Baby killers begins.
Welcome to the Crime Ledger, where every page reveals a mystery.
Before we dive in, write in the comments section where you are watching from, and if you are a true crime lover, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon, so you will never miss the next true crime stories.
To understand the nightmare, you have to rewind. Back before blood stained the sidewalks. Before news anchors repeated their names with morbid fascination. Meet Emily, Baby, Carter. To anyone scrolling through Instagram, Emily's life looked perfect. Blonde hair curled into soft waves, always filtered under warm sunset light. Her captions were sweet, simple: "Love this life, cherry blossom sparkles," or "Grateful for every moment, two hearts." At just 23, she had over 40,000 followers, mostly young girls who envied her fashion hauls and pastel pink bedroom. But offline, Emily's life was messy. Raised in a broken home, bouncing between relatives, she longed for control, for a fantasy life she could shape, filter, and perfect. Online, she could be Baby, flawless, adored. And then came Ken. Real name, Dylan Hart, age 25. If Emily was Barbie, Dylan was Ken. Square-jawed, golden-haired, gym-built. He lived for aesthetics, tailored suits, glossy sneakers, luxury watches he couldn't always afford. Dylan wanted to be noticed, envied, worshipped. And when he and Emily met at a party in 2020, it was instant chemistry. Together, they were Instagram gold. Ken and Baby became their brand. Couple selfies. Beach trips. His arm around her waist, her head on his shoulder. Hashtags like #ForeverUs and #CoupleGoals. But beneath the polished veneer, something darker was brewing. The more followers they gained, the more extreme their content became. Emily and Dylan didn't just want likes, they wanted devotion. So they began to stage photo shoots that blurred the line between fantasy and reality. A picture of Emily, sprawled across a bed with red rose petals. Except some followers noticed the petals weren't rose petals at all, they looked more like blood splatters. A TikTok of Dylan, holding a toy gun to Emily's head, both of them laughing. The caption: "Ride or die." Fans debated whether it was edgy or disturbing. But Ken and Baby thrived on the attention. They weren't just influencers anymore, they were characters in their own twisted movie. And soon, the line between performance and reality disappeared completely. The first real victim was Rachel Myers, 19 years old. Rachel was a freshman at a nearby college. Shy, bookish, and desperate to fit in. She stumbled across Emily's Instagram one night and became obsessed. Baby wasn't just pretty, she seemed powerful, free, adored. Rachel wanted to be like her. So when Emily replied to one of Rachel's comments with, "DM me, cutie 2 hearts," it felt like fate. Over weeks, the two grew close. Emily played the role of mentor, big sister, role model. She invited Rachel to hang out with her and Dylan, promising to show her what real life could be like. Rachel was thrilled. But she had no idea she was stepping into a carefully laid trap. The night Rachel disappeared, her roommate remembered her excitement. She was glowing, putting on makeup, saying she was going out with new friends. She never came back. Police later discovered Rachel's phone, abandoned in an alley. The last text message she sent was to her roommate. "They're taking me somewhere secret. I can't wait to tell you. I feel like I'm finally part of something." That was the last anyone heard from Rachel. When her body was eventually found weeks later, hidden in a shallow grave by the river, the details were chilling. Her hair had been cut short, dyed blonde. Her clothes, nearly identical to Emily's Instagram wardrobe. Rachel had been transformed. Not into herself, but into baby's double. Police questioned Dylan and Emily, of course. But the couple's alibi was airtight, endless photos and videos from that weekend, posted online in real time. Still, detectives couldn't shake the feeling something was off. Why did Emily laugh nervously every time they asked about Rachel? Why did Dylan's smile linger too long, as though daring them to catch him? The case went cold. But Rachel wasn't the last. Over the next year, 3 more young women vanished under eerily similar circumstances. All between 18 and 22. All active on social media. And all had recently interacted with Emily or Dylan online. One left behind a diary entry. "They told me I could be perfect, just like them." The press began whispering about a pattern. And when a reporter nicknamed them the Ken and Baby Killers, the title stuck. Still, with no physical evidence, no direct witness, and the couple's constant curated digital alibis, investigators were left spinning in circles. And meanwhile, Emily and Dylan's follower count only grew. The internet loves beautiful villains. Which brings us back to that night. The blood-stained street. Emily clutching the knife. Dylan standing in the shadows. Neighbors frozen at. And Emily whispering, almost like a promise. They'll never find the others. But the question is. Police sirens rip through the quiet neighborhood. Red and blue lights flicker against pastel walls, staining the white fences with shadows that look like prison bars. Emily, baby, Carter is on her knees, the knife slipping from her trembling hands. Blood pools beneath her, but whose blood? Hers. Dylan's. Someone else's. Dylan, Ken, heart doesn't run. He doesn't even flinch when officers shove him against the hood of a patrol car. Instead, he smirks. Calm. Almost, entertained. As he's cuffed, he looks at Emily and mouths something only she can see. 3 words. Don't say anything. At first, police think this is just another case of domestic violence. A couple gone wrong. A lover's quarrel turned bloody. But then, the neighbors speak up. They tell detectives about Emily's chilling words, they'll never find the others. That changes everything. Detectives go from investigating a stabbing, to wondering if they've just stumbled onto a graveyard of secrets. The first step. Social media. Detectives scroll through Emily and Dylan's feeds. Thousands of photos. Couple selfies. Branded sponsorships. Fashion hauls. But sprinkled between the glossy posts are darker ones, captions that feel like confessions in plain sight. A picture of Dylan holding Emily's chin, the caption, "She's not replaceable. No one ever is." Emily, standing in front of a mirror, hair slicked back, with the words, "Sometimes, you have to become someone else." A TikTok of the couple driving at night, headlights cutting through black roads. The audio? A distorted voice whispering, "Bury it deep." No one will know. At first glance, it's just aesthetic. But investigators know better. They cross-reference missing persons reports with Emily's comment section. And there it is. Each missing girl had commented on Ken and Baby's posts. Each one DM'd them. Each one disappeared. Rachel Myers, the 19-year-old freshman, suddenly becomes the key. Detectives re-examine her case. The shallow grave by the river. The chopped blonde hair. The imitation wardrobe. But something new stands out. A necklace found with her remains, a delicate silver chain with a tiny heart pendant. It wasn't hers. Her family swears she never owned it. But in one of Dylan's old Instagram posts, months before Rachel disappeared, he's holding that same necklace in his hand. The caption? Only for the special ones. Still, the case refuses to crack open cleanly. Detectives track down other influencers Dylan and Emily interacted with. They question ex-friends, jealous rivals, even sponsors who quietly cut ties after sensing something off. But every lead collapses. Everyone has theories, suspicions, gut feelings, but no proof. Meanwhile, the press runs wild. Headlines scream. Are Ken and Baby America's new Bonnie and Clyde? Couple goals turned deadly. The selfie killers. Fans swarm police stations, some defending Emily and Dylan, others demanding justice. And chillingly, their follower count doubles during the investigation. It's not until detectives search Dylan's family home, a quiet house on the edge of town, that the first real break comes. In the basement, behind a false wall, they find a collection. Not bodies. Not weapons. But trophies. A pair of glasses. A diary with pages ripped out. A blood-stained hoodie. Polaroids of young women, all smiling, but their eyes wide, terrified. On the back of each Polaroid is a date. And next to the date, a single word. Perfect. When shown the Polaroids in interrogation, Dylan doesn't blink. He leans back in his chair, smirking. But Emily? She breaks. Her voice trembles. Her mascara streaks. She whispers. It wasn't supposed to be like this. He said they wanted it. He said they needed it. Detectives lean in. Who are they? Emily swallows hard. Her lips barely move. The others. Through hours of questioning, a horrifying picture emerges. Emily and Dylan weren't just partners in love. They were partners in performance. Every crime was staged like content. Every victim transformed into a character. Rachel dyed blonde. Another forced into Emily's pastel dresses. Another styled in Dylan's watch and jacket. They weren't just killing. They were recreating themselves. Over and over. And Emily admits something that sends chills through the room. Sometimes I didn't know if he wanted me, or the version of me he made in them. Detectives think they finally have enough to charge Dylan with murder. But then, the lab tests come back. The blood on Emily's hands that night. It wasn't Dylan's. It wasn't hers. It belonged to someone else. Someone who hasn't been identified. Someone still missing. The detectives freeze. If the blood isn't from any known victim, then who else was there? Who is still out there, unaccounted for? And worse, could there be another victim alive, waiting, somewhere in the shadows? Emily leans forward, tears streaming, and whispers one last line before the cameras shut off. He promised me, the next one would be our masterpiece. In the dim interrogation room, Emily Carter's voice trembles. He promised me, the next one would be our masterpiece. Detectives freeze. The word hangs in the air, heavy, poisonous. Masterpiece? What did that mean? Dylan sits across the hall in another room, smirky. Into the security camera. He taps his cuffed hands against the table like he's keeping rhythm to a song only he can hear. He doesn't look worried. He looks excited. Detectives dig deeper. They scour Dylan and Emily's cloud backups, their draft posts, their deleted TikToks. And then, they find it. A folder on Dylan's hard drive. Password protected. Titled simply, The Show. When forensic techs crack it open, the screen fills with videos. Unedited, raw, horrifying. Victims in different stages of transformation. One crying while Emily applies makeup to her face. Another trembling as Dylan forces her into a pastel dress. Another staring blankly into the camera, whispering lines Emily fed her. I am baby. I am perfect. I am forever. And at the end of each clip, Dylan turns to the camera. His jawline lit in shadow. His smile chilling. Practice. Piecing together the footage, detectives realize the nightmare truth. Dylan and Emily weren't just killing for thrill. They were rehearsing. Perfecting a scene. Over and over. Victim after victim. Until they could stage their final act. Their masterpiece. Emily later admits Dylan was obsessed with movies. As a boy, he'd rewatch old VHS tapes until the images warped. He didn't just watch films, he memorized them, lived them. When he met Emily, he found his leading lady. But to Dylan, one baby wasn't enough. He wanted an endless cast. A world of Emilys. Blonde. Smiling. Dressed just so. Saying the words he scripted. And if one didn't get it right? Cut. Replace. Try again. But detectives are haunted by one question: whose blood was on Emily's hands that night? They comb through recent missing persons cases. And then they find her. Chloe Daniels. 21. A film student. Last seen leaving campus late at night. Her friends say she was obsessed with Ken and Baby. She even wrote a paper about social media couples as modern myth-making. The perfect candidate for Dylan's masterpiece. Using phone records, detectives trace Dylan's MOV. They find an abandoned warehouse on the edge of town, a place Dylan had visited multiple times. When the tactical team breaks down the door, what they find inside makes hardened officers gag. The warehouse has been transformed into a set. Backdrops painted pastel pink and baby blue. Bright ring lights. A throne-like chair in the center. And on the walls, massive blown-up prints of Emily's Instagram selfies. But the most chilling? A camera still recording. Red light blinking. And in the frame, a chair. Empty. Ropes dangling from the armrests. On a nearby desk, detectives find a script. Pages and pages of dialogue. Some written in Emily's handwriting, some in Dylan's. The title on the front, Baby Forever. The lines are disturbing. Commands for the victim to recite. Directions for how to smile, when to cry, when to say, I am perfect. And at the very end of the script, in Dylan's bold scrawl. Finale, she becomes baby, and baby becomes eternal. When detectives confront Emily with the script, she shatters. Through sobs, she admits Dylan promised this film would make them legends. Not just influencers, icons. He said, if the world saw it, they'd never forget us. He said the masterpiece would make us immortal. But Emily insists she never wanted to kill. She claims Dylan manipulated her, threatened her, brainwashed her. Yet when detectives show her footage of her laughing while forcing victims into costumes, she collapses into silence. Was she a victim? Or a co-director? Forensics soon uncover something even darker. Among the hard drives and memory cards, they find one unfinished video. It begins with Chloe Daniels tied to the chair, trembling. Emily hovers over her with a brush, applying pink lipstick. Dylan directs from behind the camera. But halfway through, Emily turns to Dylan. And she says, "Why don't we just use me this time?" The camera jerks. Dylan's voice is sharp. "No. You're the star. You don't get replaced." The clip cuts off. Detectives realize Emily wasn't just complicit. She wanted to be part of the masterpiece too. Not as the victim, but as the eternal baby. And Dylan? He was willing to kill every other girl to perfect her role. The discovery only raises more terror. If Chloe was supposed to be the final rehearsal, where is she now? Search teams scour the warehouse, the surrounding woods, the riverbanks. Nothing. It's as if she vanished into thin air. But then, a chilling discovery. On Dylan's phone, a scheduled post. Set to go live in 3 days. A video titled, "The Masterpiece." No one has seen it yet. And the system won't let detectives preview the file without the original upload source. Meaning, Chloe might still be alive. Suddenly, the investigation isn't just about justice. It's a countdown. If Chloe is alive, she's running out of time. If Dylan succeeds in releasing the masterpiece, the world won't just watch another influencer video. They'll witness a murder. As detectives scramble, Dylan is led back to his cell. And for the first time since his arrest, he speaks directly to the camera. He leans forward, eyes burning. His smile slow, deliberate. And he says, "Every masterpiece needs an audience. Are you ready to watch?" Fade to black. 3 days. That's how long detectives have before Dylan's scheduled upload, the masterpiece, goes live. If Chloe Daniels is alive, those 3 days are her last. If she's already dead, the world is about to watch her murder unfold. Either way, time is running out. The tech team tries to cancel the scheduled upload. But Dylan's system is encrypted, synced across multiple cloud accounts. Delete one file, another pops up. Cancel one post, it reschedules itself. It's like a virus Dylan built himself. A ticking time bomb, set to go off at midnight. Detectives turn back to Emily. She's their only hope. Where would he keep her, they press. Emily shakes her head, sobbing. "I don't know. I don't." But then she slips. Just for a moment. She whispers, "The cabin." Detectives freeze. What cabin? Emily realizes she's said too much. She clamps her hands over her mouth. But it's too late. Officers raid Dylan's family's old hunting cabin, deep in the woods. The place is silent. Too silent. Inside, the walls are covered in posters of Emily. Childhood photos. Glamour shots. Selfies blown up and framed. It's like stepping into a shrine. And in the center of the room, a bed. On the bed, ropes. Blood stains. A pink dress laid out neatly. But no Chloe. Instead, on the nightstand, detectives find a tape recorder. They press play. Dylan's voice fills the room, calm, rehearsed. If you're hearing this, you're already too late. The masterpiece doesn't live here. She lives where dreams are born. Where baby first became eternal. Detectives exchange looks. Where dreams are born. They know exactly what he means. Back in the city, they retrace Emily's Instagram history. Her very first viral post. The photo that made her baby. It wasn't taken in a fancy hotel. Or a studio. It was taken in an abandoned amusement park just outside town. The caption, "Dreamland cherry blossom sparkles where it all begins." That's where Chloe is. The tactical team storms the abandoned amusement park. The air is thick with rust and rot. Broken Ferris wheels loom like skeletons. And from the old funhouse, they hear it. A girl's scream. They kick down the doors, and the scene inside looks like something from a nightmare. Ring lights. Cameras. A stage built from broken carnival props. And tied to a chair at the center, Chloe Daniels. Her face is caked in makeup, smeared from tears. A pink dress clings to her body. She whispers the words Dylan forced her to rehearse. I am baby. I am perfect. I am forever. Before they can reach her, the screens flicker on. Every wall of the funhouse lights up with Dylan's face. Pre-recorded. Smiling. Congratulations, detectives. You found her. But remember, every masterpiece needs an ending. And then, smoke fills. A fire ignites at the base of the stage. The whole funhouse erupts in chaos. Officers rush forward, cutting Chloe free. She screams, choking on the smoke. The cameras keep rolling, capturing every frantic second. They drag her out just as the roof collapses. The funhouse burns to the ground, taking Dylan's set, his script, his stage with it. But Dylan himself? Nowhere to be found. Back at the station, detectives realize something chilling. The scheduled upload for the masterpiece still hasn't been cancelled. Even after the raid. Even after saving Chloe. At midnight, the video goes live. Millions of notifications ping phones across the world. And when viewers click play, they don't see Chloe. They see Dylan. Sitting in front of the camera, calm as ever. The masterpiece isn't a film. It's a story. You watched it. You chased it. You shared it. And now, you're part of it. Then the screen cuts to black. Emily collapses when she sees the video. She screams that she didn't know, that Dylan tricked her, that she never wanted this. But the footage, the trophies, the Polaroids, they all tell a different story. Was she a puppet? Or a partner? The jury doesn't care. She's charged with multiple counts of accessory to murder. And Dylan? He vanishes into legend. To this day, no one knows where Dylan Hart went. Some say he died in the funhouse fire. Others believe he escaped, still filming, still planning. And sometimes, late at night, new accounts pop up online. A grainy photo. A blurred video. A caption with 3 words. Coming soon. Masterpiece. The story of the Ken and Baby killers doesn't end with an arrest. It ends with a question. Are they gone? Or are they still out there, waiting for their next audience? Because if Dylan was right, the masterpiece never ends. It just keeps playing. And maybe, you're already watching it. Thanks for Whackthing. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more true crime stories told like never before.